Jaya Kunja Bihari. Then Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha. Jaya Giri Varadari. Jaya Giri Varadari. Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha. Jaya Giri Varadari. Jaya Giri Varadari. Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha. Jaya Giri Varadari. Jaya Giri Varadari. Janna Vallabha. Varadari. Jaya Giri Varadari. Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha. Jaya Giri Varadari. Jaya Giri Varadari. Gopi Janna Vallabha. Jaya Yeshodanandana. Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Yeshodanandana. Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Kunja Bihari. 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 Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Vivracharya Sarang Grace Desi Bhakti Vinata Swami Prabhu Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Vivracharya Sarang Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavani Ki Jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Ita Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. All glorious lotus, all glorious lotus, all glorious lotus, all glorious Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityo Naram Chavanarottamam Devam Sarsatim Vyasam Tito Jayamudirayat. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 2, Text 2, right? Yes. Oh, good guess. I'm Hare Krishna. Wow, news. Text 2, Chapter 2. All right. Wow, this is a new rendition. Very nice. So, Okay. Huh? So I won't do word meanings. TK. Sachakatachit pichaloka kama suravara vanita kritachalo dronyam Bhagavatam vishvasrijam patim abrita parachopakaranana atmakagrenat tapas aradayam babuva. Memorized? I'll translation and purport. No Shrutidar? Word Marni, okay, TK. Saha, he, King Agnigdara. Cha, also, Gadachit, once upon a time. Pitriloka, the Pitriloka planet. Kama, desiring. Suravara, of the great demigods. Vanita, the women. Akrida, place of pastimes. Achala Dronyam, in one valley of the Mandara hill. Bhagavantam, unto the most powerful Lord Brahma. Vishvasrijam, of personalities who have created this universe. Patim, the master. Abrita, having collected. Paricharya upakaranaha, ingredients for worship. Atma, of the mind. Eka agrenya, with full attention. Tapasvi, one who executes austerity. Radayam babuva, became engaged in worshiping. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki! Translation. Desiring to get a perfect son and become an inhabitant of Pitralok, Maharaj Agnidra once worshipped Lord Brahma, the master of those in charge of material creation. He went to a valley of Mandara hill, where the damsels of the heavenly planets come down to stroll. There he collected garden flowers and other necessary paraphernalia, and then engaged in severe austerities and worship. So I'll read the purport because it's a rather long purport, but purport. The king became Pitralokakam, or desirous of being transferred to the planet named Pitraloka. Pitralok is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, Yanti Deva Vrata Devam Pitrin Yanti Pitrin Vrataha. To go to this planet, one needs very good sons who can make offerings to Lord Vishnu and then offer the remnants to their forefathers. The purpose of the Shraddha ceremony is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, so that after pleasing Him, one may offer prasad to one's forefathers and in this way make them happy. The inhabitants of Pitraloka are generally men of the karma kandya, or fruitive activities category, who have been transferred there because of their pious activities. They can stay there as long as their descendants offer them Vishnu Prasad. Everyone in heavenly planets, such as Pitraloka, however, must return to earth after exhausting the effects of their pious acts. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9:21, Shine punye martyalokam vishanti. Persons who perform pious acts are transferred to the higher planets, and when the effects of their pious acts are over, they are again transferred to earth. Since Maharaj Priyavrata was a great devotee, how could he have begotten a son who desired to be transferred to Pitraloka? Lord Krishna says, Pitrin yanti pitrivrata. Persons who desire to go to Pitraloka are transferred there. Similarly, yanti madhyajino pimam. Persons who desire to be transferred to the spiritual planets, Vaikuntha Lokas, can also go there. Since Maharaj Agnidra was the son of a Vaishnava, he should have desired to be transferred to the spiritual world, Vaikuntha Loka. Why then did he desire to be transferred to Pitraloka? In answer to this, Goswami Giridhar, one of the Bhagavatam commentators, remarks that Agnidra was born when Maharaj Priyavrata was infatuated by lusty desires. This may be accepted as a fact because sons are begotten with different mentalities according to the time of their conception. According to the Vedic version, therefore, before a child is conceived, the Garbhodhan Samskara is performed. This ceremony molds the mentality of the father in a way that when he plants his seed in the womb of his wife, he will beget a child whose mind will be completely saturated with a devotional attitude. At the present moment, however, there are no such Garbhodhan Samskaras, and therefore people generally have a lusty attitude when they beget children. Especially in the age of Kali, there are no Garbhodhan ceremonies. Everyone enjoys sex with his wife like a cat or dog. Therefore, according to the Shastra conjunctions, almost all the people of this age belong to the Shudra category. Of course, although Maharaj Agnidra had a desire to be transferred to Pitraloka, this does not mean that his mentality was that of a Shudra. He was a Kshatriya. Maharaj Agnidra desired to be transferred to Pitraloka, and therefore he needed a wife, because anyone desiring to be transferred to Pitraloka must have behind a good son to offer yearly pinda or prasad from Lord Vishnu. To have a good son, Maharaj Agnidra wanted a wife from a family of demigods. Therefore he went to Mandara Hill, where the women of the demigods generally come to worship Lord Brahma. In Bhagavad Gita 4:12, it is said, Shanta karmanam siddhamajante eva devata. Materialists who want quick results in the material world worship demigods. This is also confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Shri Ashvarya Prajanikshava. Those who desire beautiful wives, substantial wealth, and many sons worship the demigods. But an intelligent devotee, instead of being entangled by the happiness of this material world in the form of a beautiful wife, material opulence, and children, desires to be immediately transferred back home, back to Godhead. Thus he worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Meditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandiham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadagamam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagardatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sitim Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Laladi Vidam 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 Sham Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosate Tapta Kantana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Rishabandha Sati Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Jibischa Kripasindu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavi Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Makam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Lankaitim Yakripatamaham Vande Shri Gunadinataranam Shri Paramadamaдаvam Shri Chaitanya Yesharam Namaste Putli Shrimati Jaya Patnamachari Pranita Nitai Shrimati Bhakti Namaste Sarasdevi Gauravan Janya Vishesh Januari Pasadesh Dharani. Any questions? No. Before I speak regarding to the shloka, I just want to say one thing. I just came from Mayapur. Is this translators? Am I speak slowly? Is it being? Okay, so I'll try to speak slowly. I just came from Mayapur, and my Guru Maharaj's Vyas Puja celebration. So they had a big pandal, 16,000 devotees that were there. Hariva! And this is after the Vyas Puja. They had a Sankirtan discussion about all the preaching going on throughout the world under JPS in that regard. So they talked about the tribal preaching, and they talked about Asian preaching, and then they talked about the in like Emirates countries and Qatar, all the preaching that's being done. And the last person to come up was the Sankirtan leader speaking about book distribution. Haribo! So I'm sitting there with all the Swamis, and so he said, yes, this month we came in number 2. And New Delhi came in number 1. Haribo! And I spent many years in Mayapur as one of the local sannyasis. And when I heard that, I go, yes! And then I listen, oh. Maharaj, ye kya hai? Because I was thinking, I preach in New Delhi once in a while. These are my boys. No, I just... But because actually in this temple, you have a very wonderful Vaishnava culture. Yes, this is Hastinapur, but Mayapur Dham, the Sankirtan devotees go right out from in Mayapur, the Dham. So you have the Dham, the Vrindavan Dham very close by, but still, you have a small handicap. But actually, because of the Vaishnava culture in this temple, you are able to do the impossible. Everything is based in culture. So in reference towards this verse, we see there's the culture of the demigods because they have very long lifespans. And the sensory activity is 1,000,000 times greater than we see on this material plane. So here the question is brought up that how is it that Maharaj Agnidra can be wanting to be transferred to the Pitraloka planet? Because in essence, he was a great a devotee in relationship to one of the greatest personalities. So how is it that he could deviate? And as is clearly said in the purport, because Maharaj Priyavrata, due to a time that during conception there was an improper attitude. And in this way, this is why we can see that, okay, there's a desire. Now, ultimately, if you look in this temple, or you look anywhere, we have many Brahmins, or many persons, some from the West. And sadly enough, my parents were very pious persons. That was very good, but they did not know the science of Garbhodhan Samskar. So in this way, but maybe I had a bad beginning. But here I am today. By the mercy of the Parampara, the relationship with the Lord is a matter of quality, not birth. Haribo! So many of your parents, maybe, I cannot speak, may have not had that proper attitude, but look at this temple. So many devotees, different backgrounds, different abilities, and there's a common denominator. Srila Prabhupada said, in cooking, you make noise in the kitchen, like this. But ultimately, the job gets done, the worship of the deity, offering the bhogas for the Supreme Lord. So in this way, we can really relish how we're in a very, very fortunate position. So the demigods have a very precarious situation. Here it is described that when the pious activities dwindle, are finished, mrityu sarvaharas chaham, and it's extraordinary situation that here, and there's descriptions in the Shastra about how in the heavenly field they have many wonderful parties and apsaras and dancing ladies and varuni and drinking. And a demigod can be there. And he can be like, he can be like with his girlfriend, drinking, haribo, haribo, jai ho. They're devotees, no doubt. Samahatma Sadrulabha. They're devotees, but there's some desire for material amelioration, material happiness. But then the pious, Jai ho, Shri Shri Gonitai, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai, and Shri Shri Radha Pardasarda Ki Jai. It's funny because a sannyasi goes to many temples, so you're like, oh yeah, Radha Vrindavan Chandra. I mean, many temples I visit, so I have to, anyways. But, so then, enjoying so much, and all of a sudden, pious activities, kadam. And then, he is there with his associate. And then, another demigod sits in. Another demigod, now she's mine. Bye-bye. So in this way, the living such an exalted position, one placed down to the lower planetary systems and hopefully Earth. And in this way, one became elevated. So this, what is that difficulty? It comes in our association. There's rag and dvesh. Every coin has two sides. So when you see one side, you can't see the other. The other may be invisible. So in this, whether it's the heavenly field or the material field we presently live in, there is this identification with rag and dvesh, desire and hate. And actually, that relationship is synonymous because with Krishna, we can have proper desire, spiritual desire. Or if we're averse to Krishna, then we will have a sense of envy or competition. So Krishna's sense of humor, mrityu sarva haras chaham. You want to be like that? Another birth, another death. So this activity that we can, in bad association in the material field, and here Srila Prabhupada is commenting on sex life, that this activity, as we follow within our Vaishnava culture, it is done for procreation. But when done for sense gratification, in reality, the mentality, and it's described here in the purport, because there's so much varna sankar in this present age, unwanted population, it is done in a lustful sense. There's kam. So in other words, in that field of activity, it becomes like a pig-like consciousness to engage in that activity. Because the pigs are very fond of various types of activities, and in this way, when the human develops the same mentality, then there's various reactions. We become forgetful of who we are. And you remember Sugriva. He was employed by Lord Ram to actually fight, to find Sita, to fight the monkey soldiers. And of course, as we well know, Hanuman was the supreme. Hanuman, he had the power to jump all the way to Lanka to search for Sita. But Sugriv was one of the main monkey kings. But then after the battle with Bali, then, because Bali's wife was Tara, and in this way he had became bewildered, because actually Tara and Ruma, well, he had 2 wives, but she was known as one of the Panchakanyas. Panchakanya refers to eternal virgins. There's Kunti, Manodri, and Draupadi. Also, Kunti, Draupadi, and there's 2 other. Tara, Mukunda, Draupadi, Kunti, missing 1. Huh? Halia. No, what's the other one? I think, anyways. So in this way, he deviated from his mission due to supreme intoxication, to misidentification to serve the Lord directly. But we can understand demigod mentality. There's no support. There's no real sangha to give up sense gratification and serve the Lord. That's why the demigods line up to take birth and in the earthly activities, earthly pastimes, so then they can understand the essence of saranagati, of service to the Lord. So there's one nice shloka which describes that for someone who has given up material sense gratification and even may slip due to misidentification of the modes of nature, may have some difficulty, but the Lord is there to protect. So in the 11th canto, 5th chapter, text 42, Svapadamonam bhatata prayasya Vaktena bhajavasahari purisha vikarmayak chopatitam kane dunoti sarvam hridisani vistaha. That the Lord gives special mercy in the heart of his devotee for someone who may slip on the path of devotion out of innocence. That Supreme Lord will take on this sinful reaction himself to avoid his discomfiture for his dependent. It's like in previous times, if you've broken the law, like we've seen in history, especially in various spiritual paths, there's various forms of atonement if one falls down. But ultimately, it's not like pouring molten lead down the throat, but ultimately, one simply, on the devotional path, gets back and fights again. So this is the process. It is a natural process. But the demigod kusanga, the association, is not conducive towards getting back in one's relationship with the Supreme Lord. So in this way, we can see that how attachment can adjust our runway of devotional service. Now, Lord Chaitanya made it very clear that even if you have attachment to a blanket, that can deviate you on the path of devotion. And the example would be Sanatana Goswami, who was a great magistrate who had escaped his captors and was in hiding as he went to see Mahaprabhu. He finally saw Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu noticed he had an opulent blanket that was given to his brother, by his brother on the travel. And Mahaprabhu and Sanatana could understand, the Mahaprabhu sees this opulent blanket. So he went out to find some beggar who had a very dirty quilt. And my dear sir, please take this gift from me and give me your quilt. And the man was saying, why are you insulting me like this? You have so much money. He could not believe, but then said, please, accept my gift. I want your blanket. So then he put it on and went to see him. Lord Chaitanya was so happy because, yes, you have understood. To become free on the runway of devotional service means not to develop attachment to anything. But this purport's describing attachment in this world towards family members, attachment towards relatives, attachment towards possessions, attachment towards false illusory concepts. There's one true story about in Hyderabad. There's a very rich family of mullaks. And but this family, that there was this mother. She was very old, and the weather was very cold. And she said to her daughter, my dear daughter, it is very cold. Please, can you give me a blanket? But the daughter, what? Why are you bothering me? Why are you asking for all these things from me? The mother said, my dear daughter, I have given you this property. I'm giving you all this wealth. Please, just give me a blanket. Hop, chip, you be quiet. I've given you many rotis. And then the daughter took water and threw it on the mother. And she was even more cold. And then the son-in-law came. Okay, what is going on? What is happening? The mother mentioned, your wife will not give me. Your wife will not give me a blanket. I'm cold. And the son couldn't believe it. How is it? You see, it's not same bloodline. How can you do this to your mother? So he gave the mother a blanket and comforted her. But wait a minute. Where did the daughter get this bad samskara? Where did the daughter operate in this way? Well, ultimately, it came from her training from the mother. So there's a parampara of activities that people have to undergo. So the process of devotion means to become free from that misidentification. And it becomes so important that we understand what is the real runway of devotion. The demigods, yes, there's a current of great love for the Supreme. They're devotees of the Supreme. But due to material attachment, there is difficulty. So we see in the Gita how the Lord makes it very clear that if you simply approach me in love and devotion, savai pum sampara dharmo yato bhaktir hoksajay, that process of devotion, that actually one can come to the platform of ahoy tu ki arpatiyata, devotion which is unmotivated and unbroken. So it's a supreme destination. So the process of devotional service is essential to develop that mood of humility. So here we have so many wonderful devotees, and as I've mentioned, and I say to other temples, there's a very wonderful Vaishnava culture here. And this is why you are being empowered to do the impossible in the sense of book distribution, opening up so many temples, and in this way develop a family mood of service to the Lord. So it becomes very exciting, because when there is a hankar, it ruins everything. Now you may note when Hanuman had gone to search for Sita, and he found Sita in the Ashoka Grove. And that Hanuman took a very small size. And Hanuman he came before, he gave a ring of Ram to confirm that he's a real messenger. So then he jumps down from the tree, so, Sita, chaliye, you get on my shoulder. Chaliye, well, I will take you to Ram. The Sita is a personification of chastity. I cannot touch any man. But Hanuman Bolo, I am your son. There is no harm in the mother touching the son. But then she defeated him. But Ram has not instructed me. And then she was thinking, but anyways, has my husband surrounded himself with a bunch of small rat monkeys? Because Hanuman was small. Then Hanuman became very big. And also I think that's when Ravan had actually told his minister, whenever you see a monkey, keep your mouth closed, okay? I've had direct experience in Radhakund. I was purchasing one day, I was just simply purchasing some chawal, and I was, Hare Krishna, and there was this drop. Oh. Drop is I looked, there's no rain. I looked up, oh, Banda! So anyways, Banda, anyways. So then the Ravana's minister went into the Ashoka Grove. Hey, you monkey, get out of here! And then monkey and Hanuman. So Hanuman gave him some pani mercy. And anyways, that whole episode, as you well know, Hanuman was captured by the ropes of Varuna, brought to Ravana's court. And Ravana was thinking, where have you got such power, you impudent persons? Who hear my name become very scared. Oh, you good drama for this maybe today. Become very scared. Where have you got this power? Now Hanuman's very, very humble. He's simply saying that actually the source of my power is the same as yours. Ram. Oh, wasn't it how, like Narada Muni, in regard to Hiranyakashipu, because we're talking about Garbhodhan Samskara, at the time of conception, Naradaji, and Narada always making appearance at the right time, always creating such, and then at the time of the right time for Hiranyakashipu, conception Leela, Vishnu! And then Hiranyakashipu, Vishnu! Oh! And then, of course, he had a great son. Because here it's describing the consciousness of the father and the wife at the time of conception will invoke a proper or improper son. So then Prahlad Maharaj took birth. So then, so Hanuman is saying to Ravan that actually the power I have and the power you have, this is an improper question. You see, demon means to challenge. In the modern culture we have, is described in this purport, how the youth, they reject their culture, they reject their parents, and then they're free to enjoy the senses. And the youth, the boys become like cowboys, and the girls become unchaste. That it creates such a sense of confusion. We know Ajamil. Ajamil was a very perfect Brahmin boy. But due to contemplation, due to previous samskaras, while contemplating the objects of the senses, attachment developed. So then he developed bad habits. But by the mercy of the Lord, he named his child Narayan, and in this way he got a second chance. I know in book distribution, that's one of the best books I distributed, Second Chance. This book will give you a second chance. How you say second chance in Hindi? Dusra avsar. One boy was telling me, actually it was Damodar Shaka was telling me about how the kings of book distribution distribute here. This is Lakshmi Puja Day. This is Lakshmi. And Lakshmi Puja Day 100 times a year. The people don't know because they're not following the culture. Oh, Lakshmi Puja. Oh, very good. Very good. Good book. Good book. Take it. Ha. It's very auspicious. Give donation. Like when I was distributing books in LAX, we would say, because you don't want to say too much about the book to lose people's focus. You ever heard about yoga? Yes. You ever heard about stress? Yes. Wouldn't you like to become free from stress? Yes. Great! You get one. This book talks about yoga and meditation and how to become free from stress. Haribol! And they would give a donation, and we're getting a donation for the book. Do what you can. Some people pitch in 10. Do what you can. It's $10 US, you know. And if they couldn't give anything, I just give them a small book. But the beauty of that is that we're accommodating. So in this way, the process of distribution of knowledge means heart transformation, even though your samskaras may not be technically so good. This purport is describing those who desire to go to the Pitraloka planet. This is basically for the karmakandya, those who have fruitive desires. But even though you may be born in that culture, that this has nothing to do with the Krishnagaha, service to Guru, service to the Nam, and relationship thereof. So you are fully qualified. Not only you're qualified to go back to Godhead, that's not our philosophy. Our philosophy is to bring others with us. That's why you have a beautiful temple like this. That's why you distribute books. And then there's transparency in all your activities. So the process is so wonderful. But we do not want to develop a sense of false ego, because that can ruin our momentum on the path. Even in the Rasa Leela, where the most intimate associates of Lord Krishna, they were thinking, I'm dancing with Krishna, Krishna's mine, and some sense, of course the Lord allowed this, of pride developed, and then Krishna disappeared. So ultimately he was with one gopi, as we read in the 10th canto in Krishna book, and ultimately that was Srimati Radharani. And even she, of course, according to the Leela, there was a little pride, please carry me, I'm tired. And then Thakurji disappeared. Of course, this is all Leela. There's no fault for these personalities. These are the most exalted devotees of the Lord, not the Lord herself. But the point being is that Krishna does not like pride. And I've mentioned before, when I was distributing books in LAX, we would, because best in Los Angeles is to have military persons come through. So I was, the books are going out, like this. And then I jokingly thought, just see how I'm the doer. Because it's a joke. A devotee never thinks like this. Everything, we're simply by the mercy of Guru and Parampara, my connection with the Lord. They're doing everything, I'm doing nothing. But I was just a little intoxicated. Maybe it's bad samskaras. Just see what I'm doing. And all of a sudden, poof, no Shakti. I couldn't even give a book to a military person. Hey, get out. Oh, hey, That's the beauty of Sankirtan. You place yourself in the shoes of others, and in this way, you have to, by your sadhana, by your association, by your relation with Guru, give your association. You see, the demigods, because they don't have the higher taste of distribution of knowledge, and there's great material amelioration, it becomes easy to be forgetful. I mean, Lord Indra, due to lust, has many eyes on his body. Very exalted demigod. Even Naradaji, by the arrangement, Lord would become a little prideful in some situations where he was affected. And even Lord Vishnu had to come and give him advice. And then Narada got a bit angry. Hop! You took that beautiful girl from me. It's a long story. I won't go into it. And then he cursed the Lord. But what is this? What am I doing? I've cursed my Lord. Of course, that was the Lord's arrangement to come in his pastimes, the Lord Ramachandra, because Narada cursed him, may you require the help of monkey soldiers in the future. Oh, that was because basically Narada Muni, the Lord gave Narada Muni a monkey head to humble him for a brief period. And then Narada got angry, but then he goes, oh my goodness, what have I done? So in this way, we have to understand as we read this purport and translation, the demigod arena is very dangerous. Sensory activities are very dangerous. And in this way, we want to become free from any misidentification because the process of Krishna consciousness, where Dadami, Buddhi, Yogam, Tam, the Lord gives all intelligence. Then, by the process, even a snake can devour Garuda. In other words, a snake is always the foodstuff of Garuda. But by the process of connecting with the Supreme, the impossible becomes possible. So our position is most fortunate. And we want to take a great advantage of this relationship because we want to always remain in a humble position in service to our spiritual master. In Mayapur, Guru Maharaj made a very wonderful comment that there's so much mercy coming from Parampara, especially from the grandfather's spiritual master. The grandfather, for us, for most of us, will be Srila Prabhupada. But at the time this commentary was made by Prabhupada, he was referring to my dependents, your grandfather, spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So the grandfather, spiritual master, gives more mercy. But it's the duty of the direct spiritual master. It's like giving, sweets to children. Kids love sweets and sugar and this and that. But the present spiritual master helps restrain our misuse, taking too many sweets, being regulated, etc., like that. So he disciplines. That is the word. The spiritual master disciplines his dependents in this way to experience the sweetness of parampara, the sweetness of distribution and transformation, the sweetness of being in this material world in a city like New Delhi. The tapasya, there's pollution, but the higher taste of sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, sarva shastra hoy, lava mantra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. Just a lava mantra, just 1/11th of a second of such devotee association. The impossible is there. So yes, may there be many more months. You beat Mayapur. And hopefully no one will relate us to Mayapur because I get in big trouble with Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj. Actually, Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj said, Guru Maharaj, because Maharaj is speaking, so please, will you give us your blessings to beat New Delhi next month? Of course, this competition is wonderful. Everyone wins. Krishna's in the center. So in that way, it becomes very, very exciting to become free from material identification or inanimate material existence. Many devotees here, they may have their smartphones. I think they have the tooth, yes? The elephant tooth? No? You have a tooth or you have a smart big size? Oh, deviation. But the point being, if I take your phone or if I take your small phone from Brahmacharya, hey, my phone. So no one likes to have things taken away. So in this way, we want to become free from any type of misidentification. But as I said earlier, even though there may be some mistake, even though we may have difficulty, that actually Narada Muni gives a very wonderful shloka instructing the Pratetas. And he says, Nija danavasakatam atmanoyam Na sarati chandravat akshanaratamhi. He says that actually this process, the Lord is in the heart of the devotee. He's residing there. But actually by your devotion, you can actually control the Supreme Lord. Because the Prachetas are performing tapasya austerity, Narada Muni was saying, actually this process is so powerful, you can control God. And the Supreme Lord will stay in your heart. In all situations, even in a fall down. When I say, yes, Antaryami is there, but the Lord, your Ishtadev, will still guide you in the heart. And He'll never leave. And when Narada Muni went to Braj, he was watching one gopi in meditation. And she was doing meditation. And Narada Muni was thinking, what's this? What is she in meditation for? They're gopi, Krishna's true Bhagavan Swayam. Why worry about anything else? So when she finished her meditation, she asked, Narada Muni asked her, so what are you worshiping? I'm trying to worship Brahman. I'm worshiping a Brahmananda to get this Krishna out of my heart. Because having this Krishna there's so much tension. So she was worshiping on the impersonal, but just take out, go. But Krishna would never leave his dear devotees. So in this way, we can take great solace. You may have difficulty, but you have wonderful culture. You will make progress in your spiritual life. And always remember Krishna in all situations. And in this way, we develop a sense, the body that we have becomes a vehicle of transcendence. And the Lord will situate within the heart. And anyone who does lectures, very fortunate position to speak the philosophy to others, because you'll find that in a audience, people are asking questions, but you're answering them already. This happens naturally. The Lord will give understanding to give satisfaction. This is the wonder of the process. So you have a very wonderful family. You have a very wonderful culture. Unlike the demigod culture, desires and goals are mixed, though they're great devotees of the Lord. So you have a very wonderful culture here. Take advantage of the association. And in this way, watch a spiritual history manifest. Never leave the association, devotees, because we don't want to become part of a material history. We want to become part of a spiritual history. And if you and you and you do not take advantage, then someone else will be gifted and empowered to do just that. So you have a wonderful family. Take advantage of this great opportunity. And don't make the mistakes like any Priyavrata may have made at one point, or Agnidra. Simply take shelter of this process distribution, and your position is rock solid. So in this way, you will have unlimited books going out and create competition for all temples. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Do we have any times, any questions?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. There is one point that King Agnidra is very fortunate that he is son of Maharaj Pribrat, the pure devotee.
Yes.
And if pure devotee is father, then his so many generations are liberated. So King Agnidra, although he desires to go to Pitriloka, but Krishna will give him again opportunity to become pure devotee.
Yes.
Because he is son of pure devotee.
Thank you for that. Yes. Haribo! 10 generations forward, backward, present generation. And it's a perfect process. The ultimate multi-market leveling program. But yes, very good point. There's no, anyways, failure is temporary. And if you're connected with a pure devotee sangha, father, guru, Guru Vai,